I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please rise for Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Get a moment of silence, please. Alrighty, thank you. I want to welcome everybody that's here and everybody that's viewing or will be viewing. We'll call the roll call. We're going to start with Commissioner KAAZ today.
Here.
Here. Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Stieben.
Here.
Mr. CULBERTSON.
I'm here.
Public comment. Looks like we have a few. Reminder, this is 3 minutes. Please introduce yourself and step up forward. Joe Herring. Morning, Joe.
Joe Herring Surveying, 315 North 5th Street. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. And just have a rezone case at the end of this meeting, a B2 to B3, which, reading through the staff report, it looks like they've covered it quite well. It doesn't meet the comp plan, but it is an expansion of an existing zoning across the street, and I would allow them to put storage units there. Just wanted to make that comment here, and if there are any questions during that time, that I will be available to answer what I can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Casey Worrell. Casey, how you doing? Come on up.
Good morning, Casey Worrell, 24619 163rd Street, Leavenworth. Basically, just wanted to see if there's any questions in regards to our renewal for our SUP.
If there is, when we get to it, we'll get a hold of you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Casey. Keon Caprice, am I pronouncing that right?
No, but that's okay.
I'm sorry. I'm terrible with names sometimes.
Well, I have one of those made-up names, so I have to be forgiving.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the 3 minutes to speak on behalf of my clients, Forever Fencing, and Raymond and Lisa Reynolds, who are in the courtroom today. I have prepared for the Commission's, for the Board's consideration, a packet of information that I'd like you to consider while deciding whether or not to grant them the requested SUP. Okay, I have it here. I'll hand it out at the end of my comments or when you're ready.
That's fine.
I like to tell stories as an attorney. We like to jabber. My dad and his family grew up in Easton, Kansas. He was one of 13 children. There was only one of those children who even got to go to high school because they were told that what was most important was to work and support themselves and the family. I would say to you, gentlemen and lady, that I feel as if I know my client for quite some time, and he is from that same stock. To say my family and Mr. Reynolds are hardworking, honest, straightforward people does not fully do justice to the way I've seen all of them, my family and Mr. Reynolds, over a decade and a half, break his back to support himself and to keep his small business running. Anybody who knows me knows that primarily I'm a criminal defense attorney, so I'm a little bit out of my element here. If my voice sounds a little shaky, I apologize. But as a criminal defense attorney, what I know is that the truth is important for any decision maker, but the truth has to be the whole truth and nothing but the truth for the decision maker to come to a fair and just result. And that's where you sit today. You're not jurors, but you are going to come to a decision that is going to greatly impact my client. Like I said, I do have this packet of information, which includes, as Exhibit A, a memorandum that Mr. Paris forwarded to me yesterday. After some discussion, I lay out in this packet that I have how I got that memorandum. But what you're also going to see in this packet of information is in 2008, the instance that Mr. Van Paris wants you to focus on, that my client did take remedial measures to any of the citizens of the county that would have been impacted by his inability to complete that job. You'll also see that he retained an attorney who worked with Mr. Van Paris to come to an agreement on behalf of the county And I find it somewhat disingenuous that Mr. Van Paris only wants to focus you on the items in his memorandum. I also have in my packet the letter that my clients did receive in 2018 indicating they should start the SUP process. You can read the letter yourself. It's from the county. And a note from Lisa Reynolds, who's here today, where she called Melissa Johnson, and it was Lisa Reynolds' understanding. Now, please understand, these are not attorneys. These are not lawmakers, regulars. They're just regular folk. There are some of those left out there. It was her understanding, as you'll see from the note, that she did not believe an SUP was needed, and other information. To conclude, I would say, you know, a slice of, I've been around long enough that I know as an individual, a slice of any of our history is not a full reflection of who we are.
Okay.
You know, I would have to harken back to 1617 where there were some disparaging comments made about Mr. Van Paris.
Okay,
I'm sure he would say those are all about him.
I appreciate it, but
Yes,
3 minutes is
thank
what
you.
we got set. So,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
I'm sure we'll be talking about this
how
some
do I
more.
get these packets to you?
You can just bring them if you like, or just hand them out,
Just,
or however you want to.
okay. Well, kind of walked off. Can I just come back here and hand them to you?
I'll take them.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vicky. There you go. All righty, Raymond Reynolds. Sorry, sir, coming up. Good morning.
I could get pretty emotional. First, I want to say sorry to Doug Smith because he was a part of that project. And I want you to know I did not run from my problem. I tried to solve it. And as far as I was concerned, I hired John Thompson, which you'll see in the packet. And John Thompson spoke to David Van Paris. And when John Thompson came to me, I asked him, you know, what's going on, what happened. I want to make it right. I want to continue to do work for them. And he told me everything was taken care of. And I didn't have to worry, and that he opened up his little black book. Now, I don't know what that means, but I do know that I never heard from them again on to resolve anything or anything. I was told everything was taken care of. I wasn't told about this until recently when I filed for my special permit. And you'll see in the packet that we have a long relationship doing jobs with several cities and counties. And you'll see also in the packet that we've become the top-rated fence company in this area. No one has more reviews than us. You'll read from our customers that we take care of them. And like I said, we did not run from the county. We tried to resolve it. I hired an attorney. He took care of it. You know, whatever he said to him, I don't know, but everything was taken care of, and that was it. No one told me anything else. And so I just want you to read through the packet, see that we do take care of our customers, and that you'll also see in the packet that the county has hired us after that, and I have copies of the receipt that we did finish the jobs. And just please ask me any questions if you have any.
Okay. When we get to it, we sure will. We thank you. Okay, I think that's all for the public comment. There's nothing else. I'll move on to administrative business. Mark, you have anything for the group?
Commissioners, I have a couple of items. One, just remind you of the ribbon cutting this afternoon, 1:30 for Eisenhower, and that I'm sure there will be a majority of the board there. So we do have that on our notice as far as public.
Where's parking at on that, Mark?
They'll
For a guy
be-
that can't walk well.
Yeah, so they're going to block one of the lanes of traffic out there, and I've let them know that they'll have some area there for you to park.
The best way to do it is to come from 10th Avenue heading
West.
west, because that's the lane that will be blocked,
That's good.
is
Okay.
heading west toward 20th Street, going
Okay.
up Eisenhower.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Maybe you park in industrial park.
Well, there's going to be that portion's going to be blocked with cones.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
the plan.
Okay.
So for the people that are going to be attending can park there. And then won't be standing out in the intersection or in the road. We'll be standing there on the, whatever side that is.
Okay.
On the side where the
northwest corner.
right.
Northwest corner, okay.
And then the other item that I had was just kind of a heads up that weekly our health department puts out a kind of an infographic on COVID cases, and I think you all get that in your email. They're going to make a couple of changes to it. This went on a lot longer than probably anybody anticipated, and so we're approaching actually 2 years of data, and it gets kind of condensed into that infographic. So they're going to break that out and have a little better snapshot of what's going on currently, and then the historical information will be separate. So just kind of a heads up on that.
Okay.
And they're still doing vaccines?
Still doing vaccinations. I think last week was, because of the holiday, they only had 1 day, but typically they're doing at least 2 days of vaccinations.
What days are them? Do you know?
I think there's Monday,
look on the
Wednesday,
side.
Friday clinics,
Yeah.
vaccination clinics. So that includes flu.
It does change sometimes because, like,
Right.
I think in the next few weeks they're going out to the schools and doing vaccinations for the staff. They did that, if you
Right,
recall,
at the
back when this all
beginning.
started, they went to the schools
Yeah.
and did the vaccines for the staff. And then I think any of the staff who wants boosters, they're scheduling that. So they may not have some of the daily clinics because they're doing that. But so they are still very active with that. A lot of that activity, and of course there was a change at the state director of health at the state level changed this week. So that may change some of the data coming out of the state too. Not sure yet.
All righty. Commissioners, do you have anything
I
for
have
me?
nothing.
Jeff, you still with us?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, just checking. Okay, then now we go to a consent agenda. I think we have something to be pulled.
I need to pull the check registry, please.
Second, motion to pull the check registry. And second, any comments? I'll start with Mr. KAAZ.
Aye.
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 Commissioner Culbertson.
I vote aye.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the check registry.
I'll second it. Keep going back to me. Commissioner KAAZ.
Abstain?
Aye.
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 Mr. Culbertson.
I vote aye.
Okay, it's approved. Very good. Okay, formal board action. Consider a motion to approve resolution 2021-52, a special use permit for a contractor's yard for forever fencing. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you today?
Well, Commissioners, how are you all?
Good to see
Good.
you.
Crystal?
Nice to be back. I am just here to say hi. Amy is going to take this over, and certainly I'll answer any questions that I can.
How's baby?
Baby's great.
Good.
Go ahead, Amy.
Alright, before you is resolution 2021-52, which is a request for a special use permit to conduct a contractor's yard for forever fencing. The property in question is 25701 Donna Road. This property is zoned rural residential 5 acres. The comprehensive plan also lists this as residential and residential estate. This type of use of contractor's yard, or more specifically a fencing contractors, does require a special use permit in that zoning district, which is why we're here today. Some highlights for this specific special use permit, as I've previously said during the open comments period, there has been contact made with the property owners about compliance with the zoning regulations, meaning they needed to get a special use permit to operate their business. The communication between our office and the applicant started back in 2018. Into 2019, it was not resolved, and then it came back and started being revisited in 2020, where it did go to court. They said that they would apply, so the case was dropped. We did have to send them another letter to remind them that they needed to get their application in and start the process, and fortunately, they did finally do that. With this type of use, they have included in their narrative and then their site plan that they do have some outdoor storage that would be within a fenced-in area on the property. They have 2 trucks that they use for this specific business that would be parked on the property. Based on the narrative, it seems like their intention is they would get a weekly shipment for the number of projects they have that week, and then they would use that shipment until it goes away, and they would order more. So most of the business activity would actually be taking place off premises on the site where the projects are. They do have employees. I think that is limited to per our conditions.
Fine.
No more than 5 employees. I think the rest of the conditions that were included in the staff report are pretty straightforward. The Planning Commission did consider this application in early November. They recommended approval with a vote of 5 to 2. 2 people were absent. So if you have any further questions, happy to answer them.
Question.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
Staff recommendation is for approval?
Was denial.
Was denial,
Because it
okay.
does not match the comprehensive plan.
Okay.
But again, anything that doesn't follow the conference plan usually is going
Gonna say deny.
That's going to be us to make the decision. Okay, thank you. Other questions? Okay, then if we don't, I entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we deny Resolution 2021-52.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
We need further discussion?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to do that. Okay, further discussion.
Just like willing to be in compliance. I mean, this went from 2018 to 2021. Taxpayer money was spent to codes court, and then it was filed in district court.
You know, one of the problems I have is not so much the company and stuff like that, but whenever I see something that's taken so long for whatever reason it takes, and then they don't have to come back before us for 5 years, I don't like that. If we got an issue, in my opinion, and the attorney can tell, David, you can tell me, if we go to approve this, I want to see this place back in front of us soon, not in 5 years. Now, is there a reason? Is 5 years what we have to go by?
No, that is just.
So if I said I wanted to approve this, even though we've got all these issues with it, and I'm just talking right now. So right now, if I said I wanted to see him back here in a year, and then a year again after that, so this doesn't get out of the way. The other issue I had is I understand that you said that you weren't aware of all this stuff. This has been going on a long time, even to go to court. We try to make everybody play by the same rules. And so when you get a notice from us, when you do, you've got to get a hold of us, period. It just has to be done then. Doug, you have something?
No problem with any of your guys' rules coming back every year. No problem at all.
Doug, you have
My
something?
motion was for denial.
Okay.
So the yes vote for denial.
Okay. I'm not calling road yet. I'm still doing comments. So,
Okay.
Vicky, do you have something before we?
I just prefer that we locate businesses in areas that are zoned for business. I mean, that's just.
Is this right? Am I reading correctly? Is this right outside an area, or was that another one I was looking at? The
Between
zone.
McLeouth and Tonganoxie on Donahue Road.
Yeah, but what's the next rating for it? What's the next?
Right, it's residential.
Yeah, it is residential, and if I remember correctly, it's mostly residential all around there. I'm not aware of
Okay.
commercial.
Okay.
So I have a couple
Go ahead, Mike.
questions. I have a couple questions for the representative, if it's okay.
You can come back, ma'am.
Sure,
Yeah.
sorry.
As far as I've heard some concerns about parking out on the road, is that something that's not going to happen in the future if this is approved, as far as unloading from the road?
Whatever criteria that the board would set as part of the approval.
I mean, that's
they would
currently, that would be the law that you don't do that. I just
Okay.
want to, that's something I've
Yeah.
heard raised. The other thing is, has there been burning of materials at the property?
Can I ask, because I don't want to say anything that's incorrect?
Right.
Okay.
When we brush, all the metal we give to the scrappers, and then any wood that we get, we donate to people that can't afford it.
Okay, so no burning of treated lumber or anything like that? Okay. The other question is, if we would vote to, I mean, I look at this, and we can get into this pretty deeply, but we have approved, what comes to mind is a crane factory, and we gave them time we gave them a specified amount of time. If we just deny this, what kind of a hardship will this work on your client?
For sure. So that's a great question. He has run that business out of that place as stated in the memorandum by the attorney for the commissioners, not knowing he needed an SUP. The business will be destroyed. He doesn't have another place to go. I mean,
Also mentioned that I don't just take care of my things. My wife's father had a stroke.
hold on. Yeah. So the business would be destroyed. It is a small business run by, you see, one person and his wife. That's it. And if they can't operate where they are now, and they would have to find another place to do business out of, et cetera, that just it would not happen in a way that they could continue to service their customers. The business would go under, plain and simple.
So how long has the business been operating out of that home?
It has been operating out of that home since 2005.
It's 2005.
Yes, sir. I would like to say regarding the 2018 until today, I mean, we all remember that everything was shut down for months, court-wise and what have you. So they did receive a Zoom notice. They did appear at that Zoom. The case was continued. So I do understand that typically 2018 to 2021 sounds unfathomable. The other issue is, Judge, now they have an attorney. Now they have someone they can forward their emails to and help them understand the legality and the rules and regulations. They didn't have that until November 10th, I think I was here the last time. So they talked to me about it November 9th. So that is the first time that they had an attorney on the application of the SOP, so they could understand what needs to be done. As an attorney, I'm not going to guarantee anything to anybody unless it's about myself, but with an attorney on board, and I've had other friends and individuals go through the SUP process in this county. I don't think that they're going to have the county's going to have the same issues with forever fencing that they may have had before.
Okay. I just received your packet
Yes.
just now.
And I just put it together last night.
And I just received the memorandum on Monday. So what my question is for you, and I'll also ask our counselor, is what weight should I give that type of memorandum as opposed to simply basing the decision on the factors for zoning?
You have to decide if someone who's going to run a business out of a zoned residential area is something that's going to work for everybody, not just the business, but the other citizens of the county. And that's why I presented to you that what is important is to consider everything. So I think that equal weight should be given to the packet that I presented as much as any weight you might give Mr. Van Paris's packet of information, which does not include, I think, the full picture. So I think a lot of weight should be given to the packet. I understand that any time a business is trying to run out of a zoned residential, it just categorically is being denied. But that's why we have the SUP process, as I understand it. So hopefully, is that answering your question?
Yeah, and being that we just received the packet
Right. I finished
5 minutes
working on
ago,
it at 11:30 last night.
I haven't had any time at all to look at the packet and to see what I did receive the memorandum on Monday from the county counselor, but so I have no idea what your answers are to that memorandum.
Yes.
So it makes it really hard to take into account and weigh that as a factor as opposed to simply basing the decision on the factors in the law, which is the character of the neighborhood and those type of things. And the Planning Commission did recommend that this be approved.
Right. They did recommend approval. I think the vote was
5-2.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Jeff. Jeff, you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to take
Mr.
off.
Culbertson, do you have anything to add to this?
I was trying to find in there if there was any protests from the neighbor. I didn't see any.
No, there's no protest from the neighbor, Commissioner.
That is correct. We have not received a
Raymond.
protest.
Yeah, you're going to have to be.
And no single letters from anybody.
There
We
are
received
individual ones.
emails and correspondence from neighbors before the meeting, so we did pass it out to the members here. There were, I believe, 4 or 5 in support.
Yeah, I see the support ones, but were there any negative ones? I didn't find any.
I am not aware of a negative.
Okay.
There are
I just
not
want to
any.
make sure I didn't miss. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't miss one.
There are 5 letters of support which are part of the packet as well, just in case they didn't get to the commissioners for this meeting.
It would appear that the neighbors are supportive.
Yes, sir.
David, do you want to bring anything to light on this?
Commissioners, the real issue is, as in the last paragraph of the memorandum I presented to you, this is a rezoning issue. You've got the 7 golden factors. My purpose in bringing this matter to you was one of the issues is whether an applicant, if a special use permit is granted, and it's a special use permit, it's granted with conditions, whether you should have an expectation that those conditions would be complied with by the person being granted that special use permit. I bring to you the past history, I believe documented, that the county has had with this applicant, and I'll stand on the memorandum as submitted to you.
Have you had an opportunity to review the memorandum from?
No, and I would just state this. I do disagree with some of the characterizations made with respect to any agreement that was entered into with the Council for Forever Fencing back in 2008. There was no such agreement, Commissioners.
So there was no settlement of the
As pointed out in
litigation?
the memorandum, it was represented to the county by their attorney that it was determined it would not be fruitful for the county to pursue civil action against Forever Fencing. Other avenues were explored but were foreclosed upon, and the matter was just chalked up as a bad experience.
If I could respond to that, in the memorandum, there is an assertion that my clients were paid $33,000 and that they did nothing to earn that money, and the county just walked away with a $33,000 loss. In the memorandum, we set forth the work that they actually did perform, and the attorney's letter, John Thompson at the time, who communicated directly with Attorney Van Paris, sets forth some figures regarding client expenditures from the amount that they were paid. And as we all remember, 2008, the economic crash, my clients, I know them personally, were going to homeless shelters for food for their family. We all suffered during that time as well, just like the pandemic. The fact of the matter is the packet contains information of very favorable reviews from customers and continued business with other government and public agencies like school districts. They are much more than what is being presented in the memorandum from Attorney Van Paris.
So one issue I have with memorandum is I only received the memorandum on Monday, and then this case has been coming up for several weeks, and we receive it 2 days before the meeting. So it's and then we get this the day of the meeting, and we're asked to make a decision based on that, and it's very difficult to know what the facts are as far as was this a legal case that was settled? It sounds like it was. It sounds the county didn't pursue it, so obviously somebody settled the case. Is that how you read it?
The letter from the attorney at the time, Mr. Thompson, back in 2008 to Attorney Van Paris sets forth what occurred between Mr. Van Paris and Mr. Thompson.
And of course, we haven't read that.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I just received the memorandum finally yesterday. So that is why I put the packet together last night. I was up till, midnight? I understand that, you do have to look at everything. I don't know if there is a way procedurally to continue any vote on this while the commission reviews all the documentation and has time to consider what's been done. Commissioner Culbertson isn't even personally here and hasn't got to see the packet at all. So we think it's important that the full picture be presented to the commission.
And for staff, there's been no complaints recorded about this business.
We received a complaint which started the code enforcement action.
And that was a verbal complaint or that was a written complaint?
I don't have the case folder in front of me, so I can't speak to that. But we did receive a complaint which resulted in us going out and investigating the property.
Okay. But I don't seem to, in the record, I don't seem to have anything in writing.
Right. So it
Okay.
could have been a verbal, it could have been a phone call. I don't have access to that information right now.
Okay. Commissioner Culbertson, you have anything else?
I was going to, I know there's a motion on the table already. I was going to make a motion that we continue this for 2 weeks to review it some more, and then there's some questions that I had. One of the main things that I'm struggling with is there's basically two kinds of businesses out there that we approve SUPs for. There's a type of business that operate on the property and have customers show up on the property, which impacts the neighborhood and traffic, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's like this type of business that they operate a business out of the property, but it doesn't have traffic or customers visiting the site. So it's kind of two major differences to me. So it takes different consideration, in my opinion, when I look at these.
Okay. Ian?
And Forever Fencing does not have customers come to the address.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions?
Are you bonded on all your work that's done currently?
Yes.
All right. And has post this incident that's cited in the memorandum from the county, has there been additional work contracted to the county that this company has done?
Yes, sir. In the packet, you will see checks paid by the county, signed by Attorney Van Paris himself, paying Forever Fencing for additional work in the years 2017. Forever Fencing is also an approved vendor for the county.
Would your client be willing to pay the county back the money that they received?
I talked with my client about that yesterday. He did perform work, so I think we would have to talk about what kind of financial payback, restitution the county would be seeking. He did do work. He did have expenditures. I was not provided, for whatever reason, the project log and whatever else Mr. Van Paris talks about in his memorandum. So my client is willing to do that, but we need to know what is fair and not fair. We're not just able to, and I don't think it would be fair to ask that they write a check for $33,000 or
Yeah,
whatever
but at the same time, it's not fair for the taxpayers to Leavenworth County have to pay for something the product wasn't thing. I think your comment's fair. I think to know about what kind of service was performed. I hate to agree with Mike. I really do. But I'm just wondering, because I don't like to see make a decision without reading the information. Not that it shouldn't have been in front of us before, for us to take a look at it. But right now there is a motion and a second on the floor, and we probably need to be moving forward with it.
Would you like to withdraw your motion?
You can withdraw your second. I'm not withdrawing my motion.
Okay, you're going to withdraw it?
We can go ahead and just let the vote go through, and then we can motion, maybe.
Well, I can tell
My
you.
motion is to denial.
Yeah. I can tell you that if it goes through like this and passes, I'm not beyond putting a lot of restrictions on it. I'm feeling very uncomfortable with packages being delivered to us at the last minute, to be honest with you. And I don't want to miss something. Doesn't mean it's going to change my mind, but I don't want to miss something. I think it's fair to the county. I think it's fair to the client. But I do have a lot of questions in here from material I've read. And the taxpayers' dollars is one of my major ones. So that I just have to let you know that right up front.
Yes, sir. And I talked with Mr. Reynolds about that last night, but we don't know a figure.
I understand. I'm just telling you that's in front of us because that's fine.
And he's not opposed to doing that. We just need.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Commissioners, you have a motion and a second for denial. What you could do is take the vote, and if that motion would fail, then you could consider your motion to table. I think that Commissioner Culbertson was proposing.
That's true. Unless you want to put it first and then have to put everybody on the spot back to vote. Going once. Going twice.
Let's just
Call the roll.
call the roll.
Okay.
Please.
I'm going to start the roll call. Commissioner KAAZ?
No.
No.
Yes to deny.
No.
Commissioner Culbertson?
Abstain.
Okay. Now, I'd like to go back, if we can, and give us 2 weeks. And I don't want any, if you got any material, I want to see it now. I don't want to see it the day of. Give us 2 weeks to review this, have a chance to look at this, and put this back on the docket again.
Does that include information on what taxpayers need to be refunded?
I think so.
Restitution with interest since 2008?
Well, I think we have to come up with a figure.
With interest. With interest.
Well, the question is, was there a settlement? In my
I don't
mind,
want to be vindictively punitive.
Yeah.
was there?
It's
I mean,
taxpayer money. It's not our money.
If the case was settled, the case was settled.
Well, we don't. There's a lot of things we just don't know.
Right.
That we're being told that I think we need some guidance and we need in what we've heard. I'd really like now to have a motion to table it. Is 2 weeks enough time?
Commissioner, Chairman,
What date is
what would
that?
be the date for that?
15th, I believe.
What is it?
It would be the 15th,
15th.
December 15th.
I move that we
Wednesday?
table
It's
it until
always
the
Wednesday.
15th.
I am in jury trial that day and can't
Oh.
be there. Can we do the 22nd of December?
That's just more time for me to read this. That's fine with me. Is
I
everybody
move that we table it to the 22nd.
Motion, we table it to the 22nd. I'll second it. Any more comments on this?
Yes, if there is going to be anything presented to the board, I would like to have ample opportunity to look at it and respond. I need to know the proper procedure. Do I present what we're going to present to the chair, to the board directly? Do I do it through Attorney Van Paris? What do I do?
I think attorneys on attorneys is better.
Okay.
But also, I'd like to say that don't bring us something the last minute
I won't.
because I won't entertain it.
I won't.
Okay. As we understand each other, we got a
Yes.
motion, and did we get a second on that?
Yes, you seconded it.
Well, that's fine. It's been a long morning already. Commissioner KAAZ?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Commissioner Culbertson?
This is to
Table it.
table it till the 22nd.
Second.
Yeah.
I vote aye.
Okay. Mike?
I don't know if there's a possibility that these two attorneys could meet and discuss ahead of time if there was any possibility of coming to a kind of an agreement.
I'll make time.
How about we just get Public Works to come up with some figures, and the county administrator and the county councilor, and we'll come up with a number that they owe the taxpayers.
Well,
And we can come to that.
That's kind of what we'd be talking about.
Commissioners, I stand by a memorandum that was prepared on June 18th, 2008 by Mr. Mickey Schwarzkopf. He calculated the loss to the county, and it's stated in the memorandum at $68,868.20. I'd certainly be willing to entertain any counter offer by the representatives for Forever Fencing.
Well, hold it. Before it, Mike, where we're not, this is not
just discussion.
King up here.
Discussion.
I'll let the attorneys and the county and the folks get involved with that, and let's see what they come up with. We've beat this to death already. Are we all good? Okay. Thank you. Let's move on. Consider a motion to approve Resolution 20-21-53, a renewal of a special use permit for CW lawns.
All right, Commissioners, before you is a request to renew a special use permit for CW lawns as Resolution 2021-53. The property in question is 24619 163rd Street. This property is used as a landscaping, lawn care, lawn maintenance, and snow removal business. They have been in operation since 2016 and have received, 2011. They got their first renewal in 2016. This would be their second renewal. The property is primarily used for the storage of materials for the business. The applicant indicated in their narrative that staff very rarely come to the property, if anything, to pick up needed equipment. But most of the time, his employees go directly to work sites. In regards to materials for projects, those typically are shipped directly to the work site. So on the premises we're talking about today, it's mostly for the storage of equipment used for the business. Per staff's analysis, the business would create minimal noise and waste. And as far as we can tell, generally the applicant has been in compliance with the conditions of their previous SUPs. I will note that our code enforcement officer included a memo of complaints that have been received on the property almost immediately after their first renewal was approved. Based off of his comments, it appears that either there was no violation actually occurring on the property, or the applicant quickly resolved the violation before any further action would need to be taken. With that, I believe the applicant provided all of their narrative in the application, and if you have any questions, staff would be happy to.
Planning Commission voted 6-0.
They did recommend approval 6-0 on this.
Okay.
And this is a question for Mark, or both you could answer it too. When we get this new SUP policy in place, this would then become perpetual.
This would be one of the ones that could be considered for that if the board was acceptable.
But this one right now it's got it set up for 15 years.
Correct.
Okay.
You ready for a motion?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Resolution 2021-53, a special use permit for CW lawns.
I'll second it. Any other discussion?
Thank you for your business that you do in the county.
Mr. Chairman, how many years?
15.
15.
Okay.
Commissioner KAAZ.
Aye.
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 Culbertson.
I vote aye.
You good, Casey?
Thank you. Yes.
Yep.
You good?
You'll be a little older then when you come back.
Some of us won't be here.
I would like to retire.
So would we.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah. All right. Item C, consider a motion to approve Resolution 2021-54, a rezone request from RR5 to RR25 located at 246th Street.
Before you is a request to rezone. As mentioned, this property is currently zoned Rural Residential 5. The applicant is requesting to rezone it to Rural Residential 2.5. The property in question is located on 246th Street, approximately 1,300 feet south of Interstate 70. This request is arising from a desire of the applicant to split off a parcel so that a family member can also live on the property with him. Obviously, the parcel is not large enough to split to create two 5-acre parcels, so he will need to get this rezone. I will say that this was reviewed also by the Planning Commission, and they did recommend approval of 7-0 on this item. Staff was also in support. It is in compliance with the comprehensive plan.
Good.
This property is real close to I-70.
Yeah. Okay, Commissioners, any concerns, comments, questions?
It's just off of 32 Highway.
I got a chance to see it, yeah. I'll take a motion then.
Motion to approve Resolution 2021-54, rezone request from RR5 to RR 2.5 located on 246th Street.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and second. Any more discussion? I'll call the roll. Commissioner KAAZ?
Aye.
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 Commissioner Culbertson?
I vote aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're down to presentations and discussion.
Nope, we got
Wait a second.
one more
They
B.
have any.
Oh, goodness, sorry. Consider a motion to approve Resolution 2021-55, a rezone request from B2 to B3 located at 17800 State Avenue. One more.
Again, Commissioners, this is a request to rezone. The current property is zone B2. The applicant is requesting that this property be rezoned to B3. I believe in his application he indicated he would like to have a storage facility on this property, which is permitted in the B3 zoning district. This property is located at the intersection of 178th Street and State Avenue. I will note that this is part of a subdivision, and per the requirements of that subdivision, the access would actually have to come off of a road that is not currently there. So there might be further action that this applicant would have to take to make this site developable. The future land use map identifies this as a mixed-use designation. B3 isn't necessarily as compatible, but as you'll see from the map provided for you in the staff report, there is B3 across the street from this location, so it is a request of an extension of an existing zoning
That's the one I was
district.
thinking about, okay.
The Planning Commission did vote to recommend approval of this with a vote of 7-0. Staff was in general support of this request as well.
Okay.
Will that street ever
Okay,
come
yeah.
through?
You know, that is a question I think.
Did the county have a bond on that, and that street was supposed to be built?
No. Unfortunately, no developer's bond was obtained in that specific project for whatever reason, Commissioner. I'll leave it at that. Commissioner, I spoke in support of this rezoning before the Planning Commission. I'm very familiar with this tract of property. It's on State Avenue. It's prime development property. I use the phrase it's benighted. Due to development issues, that property's been laying vacant for several years. It could potentially lay vacant for many more years due to the road access issue. I would encourage the board to favorably consider any actions that would spur development of that property, either through a reconfiguration of the land, through a replat, by whatever means. But because of development issues caused long ago, that property has just been vacant, it's unproductive, and any actions that would render it more productive, I think, should be supported.
Well, if the road would have been put through like it was supposed to, it would have already been developed.
Exactly.
So
Smith,
what
but it
can the
wasn't.
county do to,
Obtain bonds in future developments, which I think is currently the policy.
okay, but there's nothing we can do to get this road through
The horse,
to finish,
horse is long
to
out of
finish
the barn.
out what the plat was supposed to have on it?
Horse is long out of the barn, Commissioner.
Okay, so we just want to make sure we're
Last
not.
lessons learned.
Yeah, what it sounds like.
It'd be nice. I think if that road did go through, there'd be a lot more commercial.
I agree.
areas.
Maybe this will start.
Okay. Well, I just don't want to affect the future of the road ever being put in.
Right.
Commissioner, I don't think the rezoning addresses the road issue, but it may lead to productive discussions of the topic.
I just don't want any buildings built on it where
Yeah.
you can't get the road through.
Sure.
So, but I'd also like to see all the sales tax projects finished from 2006 to 16 too, that our previous boards did not do. Luckily today we're completing our last sales tax project that we.
Yeah, prove that. I know.
Anyways, that's all I had. Just thought that it would be nice if that road was out to 178th Street. Bayside Drive, I believe.
Any other discussion? Take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the rezone, or Resolution 2021-55, a rezone from B2 to B3 at 170, or 17800 State Avenue.
Second.
Motion and second. Any more discussion? I'll start the call. Mr. KAAZ?
Aye.
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 Mr. Culbertson?
I vote aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now moving on. My pen got ahead of me. Okay, presentations and discussions. Thank you. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you all too.
Okay. Presentations, discussions. Mark? David?
Nothing, Commissioners.
Okay, Vicki?
Nothing.
I have one thing. Just this Sunday, the Lansing Mayor's Christmas tree lighting is at 6 p.m. at the Lansing Middle School. That's off Olive Street. It's always a fun time. And they usually serve hot chocolate, which is a good thing. That's all I have. Mr. Smith?
Just attended Fairmount Township meeting Monday night because of the holiday last week. That's all I had. Had a short week with the holiday.
Mike?
I got to see the new board members sworn in a couple days ago.
Oh, they took their oath over
Yeah,
there?
took their oath.
Instead of over the courthouse or Justice Center.
Okay. Commissioner Culbertson, you have anything?
I don't have anything this week.
Okay, Jeff, thank you. If anybody have any business? Not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Commissioner KAAZ?
Aye.
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 Mr. Culbertson?
I vote aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.